2021. It is 5 o'clock. This is the weekly tap in. This is your boy Duane Cofield, and I'm tapping in. It's good, family. You already know it's that time of the week where we get together, trade game, acknowledge each other, talk about what we need to talk about. This week is really special. So before we begin, though, those who are watching live, those who are tapped in, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, I'm going to need you guys to hit that share button. So let's go ahead and do that together. I'm going to do my part, hit the share button. Let me tell you why, man. It is extremely important for us broadcasters who are doing this out of the love and kindness of our hearts and out of our commitment to God to keep going. And it really helps us in these stores, iTunes, wherever they have podcasts. We need reviews. So I need you guys to leave a review, share it with your friends, and basically, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe. If you don't follow our YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe on that. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead and share this with my audience. And let's see. It's really easy to do. Done deal. That's it. That's all we need to do, man. And then we can get rocking and rolling because we usually don't have a lot of time to waste, right? Everybody's busy, right? And one of the things that kind of struck me this week, and the reason why I picked this particular topic this particular week, is because I saw people not wanting to go through the process. There's a lot of conversation about the gymnasts who, decided to, not participate because of mental health issues. And then I watched a sports guy talk about it, and he was just like, that's part of the process, is to not be on your best and still perform, to not necessarily be 100% and still perform. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get to that, make sure you guys give a shout out to your city in the comment section. Please do that. And that's for our live. For those who are listening on the podcast or listening, man, you can do that too. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys come and tap in on Mondays. We do it every Monday, either at 5 or 6. The only reason we've been doing it at 5 is because I'm teaching at 6. So outside of that, so a lot of you guys, I don't know if you knew that I teach as well. So trying to get my life together with this microphone. But nonetheless, that's why it's all so important for you guys to go ahead and put your cities in so you guys can rep. So I know where you guys are tapping in from and make sure I acknowledge you guys and give you your shout outs, right? It's really critically important for people who try to get my mic together, figure out where it sounds the best. For people who are, taking time out of their day to come spend it with us. Oh, what's up, homie? Atlanta's in the building, man. What's up, family? Appreciate that, Sam. Man. Oh, man. What's up, Sid? Louisville in the building, man. Shout out to Kentucky, man. Georgia in the building. I appreciate you cats, man. Well, you guys telling me, man, I appreciate what you guys do, homie. You guys are my inspiration, man. That's how we connect with God, man. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't go out and seek these things and be asking God, what am I supposed to say today, man? And I ain't on no preacher type, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, what am I supposed to say today? God, is it where are we at? You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do? What's up, Tiana? AZ tapping in. Appreciate the tap in, you guys. Appreciate the tap in. So those who are just coming in, make sure you guys put your city in there, and I will get to that. But I want to start kicking game. I want to start talking about that. And we want to talk about embrace every step of the process today. Every step of the process. And we're all going through a process. We don't know where we are in that process. That's the problem, right? So we don't know what to be thankful for. We don't know what this struggle is actually going to do for us, right? We don't know how this is building our character. So going back to the Simone Biles, and I don't know if I pronounced, I said Gabby Douglas, I might have, but the Simone Biles example is, in order to become great, you got to embrace the suck. You got to embrace the L's, dog. That's part of the process. They should just give a manual on life, right? That you're going to lose, you're going to take L's, you're going to be embarrassed, right? You're going to feel like quitting. You're going to go through all these stages of like chapters in a book of life. I promise you. Every one of them, man. You'd be shocked of people who think they can skip these steps, right? There was a guy that that started a business and he quit. He basically quit because he was like, "This is hard." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I understand. Things are hard, but the best things, the hardest things, give you the best returns. They give you the best returns 100%. So when you go through that sucky part, that part that everybody's trying to skip, because everybody tries to skip certain parts, right? Nobody likes to be embarrassed, so we try to skip steps, right? We try, oh, I'm gonna just be successful by not doing the hard work. You know what I'm saying? There's a hack for that, right? Shout out to the millennials for creating the hacks, right? But there's a hack for that, right? There's always a hack for something. And in certain instances, there is no hack. There is no shortcut, right? You got to take the stairs. There is no elevator. The elevator's broken. Do you know how to walk? I was talking to my partner this weekend and he told me about a movie where everybody had everything programmed. So life was so freaking easy. But at the same time, when those things broke down, nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew what to do. And that's the thing, how do you bounce back? How do you maintain a focused mindset when you taking L's? How do you maintain a focused mindset when your bank account is negative 100 and some dollars and you still got to buy gas? That's part of the process. How do you function when the repo man that snatched your car and you're supposed to be going on a date? You go outside, there ain't nothing. You like, somebody stole my car. I've been there, or else I couldn't tell you guys about it. If everything was easy and gravy, then why would you guys listen to me? It's the part that you guys can relate to. Oh, it sucked for him too. All I keep seeing him, all he keep posting is all his pictures from the tours and da. Man, 5-10 years ago, well, I would say probably less than that, 5-6 years, I was getting my car repoed. That was I putting it on face? Nah. But that was part of my process. You feel what I'm saying? I had to go through that in order to share that with you guys to make sure you understand that as you're going through this, you're not the only one. You're not the last and you're not the first. So when you get that sense of comfort, realizing that you're not the last or the first that this has happened to, that there's somebody that's done the same thing or been through the same situation, it becomes a lot easier to accept what's going on and understand that it is part of the process, right? We all have to be new. We have to suck. We have to be novice at something. We can't come in the game playing Madden and all of a sudden we're just an expert. How's that possible? You got to go through each stage, and each stage has levels and layers to this shit. People always levels to this, man. Do you know what that means? That means like a video game. Since we're using on the video game analogy, that you got to keep passing stages, and if you don't pass that stage, you'll stay there, right? You'll stay there and not necessarily go to the next stage until you do X, Y, Z. Well, now the video games are a lot easier. They'll pass you, they'll move you along, whether you're prepared or not, right? Let's just move this along. Does it look like, you know what I mean? What's up, Tanisha? Appreciate that. Hot Dad's always tapping in. I appreciate you guys. No doubt. Tell Keith I said what's up too. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. The gym. Speaking of gym, man, Tanisha been putting it down on the gym. That's hard work. Me and my wife just left the gym earlier today. My ring going off. It's all good. But at the same time, what happens? We got to go in there and embarrass ourselves. I remember my first time at the gym. I put 225s on the bench. 25s, not the plates, homie. The little itty bitties. And I was struggling. And I was hella embarrassed. Hella embarrassed. But guess what? That was part of the process. Now I can go in there, plates. It's no problem, chunking it up. That's like, man, you in a 40 plus club. Yeah, I know. I get it. But I'm also in that 300 plus club. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that you got to understand. But if I didn't go through the 25s on each and embarrassing myself and shaking and all that, I wouldn't be doing it now. Pull-ups. I remember in PE, I used to be embarrassed because I couldn't do pull-ups. Now at the age of 40, I'm 44, I'm just now getting comfortable with pull-ups. So I didn't embrace that part. That's the part of this. Hey, man, you go through stages. You got to, I got to learn. But you got to keep going. That's the thing, right? Sometimes these stages seem like they're uncomfortable and embarrassing, which make us retreat from the goal altogether. Right? We don't want to do it anymore. Why, man? That part sucks. What, the embarrassing part, or the part that you got to get up in the morning and go when you really, really don't feel like going? Dad, I know about that part. When you got to go to a job that you like, man, this shit sucks. But I got to keep going. Why? Because there's something there. God wouldn't put me here by accident. He ain't just putting me randomly through hell. Man, let me just randomly put you through hell. Why would God do that? You feel what I'm saying? I'm not, that's not what nah. And he's not in that business either. So we got to realize that even when we going through something that seems like it's not supposed to be, right? Because, and it's not because of some come to Jesus moment, but it's because of some work involved, because it's uncomfortable. These are part of the processes, because you're going to have to explain these things to people as they're going through theirs, right? We're all here to learn for other people. That's the part that people keep missing. We think we don't take any of this stuff with us, including the knowledge, right? So if we don't take any of the knowledge with us, we got to either put it in books so that people in future generations, or we got to start lacing the people that are around us. Two ways to really have an impact on legacy, right? And a lot of times it's our kids are going to be the most responsible for our legacy. And that's who you pass it down. But you got to tell them that there's a process. You're not going to be an expert as soon as you start. There's going to be a part where you're excited about something. You're going to try it out. And then there's going to be a learning curve. A lot of people are afraid of the learning curve, because the learning curve requires you to go uphill, and uphill, steep hills, stuff that makes your ass hurt, right? These learning curve, I got to go through this learning curve. Yes, golf, surfing, anything that you want to do, life, doesn't matter. Video, I've done 106 of these, 106, right? 106, and podcast episodes. I got 2 seasons of podcast. So I've been talking on, and before that, I have YouTube. I got almost 100 videos. So I've been talking on cameras and mics for years. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm better than I was. And I understand that this is a process. This is not an overnight success. This is why most people quit. They quit on 30 something, where I'm on 100 and something, right? And I've heard other podcasters talk about their 1,000th episode, and I understand it's a process, but I can't quit, right? I got a podcast episode called Embrace the Suck, similar to this conversation, because there's going to be certain part of your journey that are going to suck. There's a book, right, that Bruce Wilkinson wrote. I'm trying to, he got The Secrets of the Vine, The Dream Giver. They couldn't come to me right there, where he talks about that. All these things that are going on that I'm talking about is in that book. I promise you, it's one of the best books that you'll ever read, hands down. Especially if you're going on a journey that you're not familiar with, that seems really scary, right? Because you're going to go to other people thinking that they're going to be confidants, and they're going to scare you even more. This is why it's so important to be skeptical about advice. It's subjective, even my advice, because it's based on what I'm saying. What I try to give you guys are just the paradigms, right? The rules, not necessarily personal experiences, because those are mine. My journey is unique to me. My obstacles were unique to me and my journey, and they were supposed to build certain things within me. Now it's up to you to figure out what your obstacles mean to you. That's why it's so important for you to write things down. Tell you guys over and over again, man, you better document this legacy. You better document your history, because you can be forgotten about quickly, because you didn't leave anything behind. You didn't give anybody any stories. You didn't tell anybody anything. You kept it all in, and then you went to your grave with you. Nah, you write that down, man. You leaving notes. You inspiring your 5th and 6th generation after you. This is what you got to do. And you got to tell them, hey, man, I started here. Look at my grandpa. Look at my great-great-grandpa. He started here. He was getting his car taken. The guy was taking it. And then look at this one. Look at this part. Look at this part. When he became successful, this is what happened. And it's all documented. It's all written down, dates and everything. And that's the beauty in your story. It is a success story. It's a historical story. But if you're not documenting, you're not embracing every step and stage, right? Most millionaires, most people, when do y'all think most millionaires are, what age they are, right? Because a lot of us come from the age of the Mark Zuckerbergs. The average millionaire is in his 60s. That's seasoned, right? Seasoned veterans, people that have lost businesses, people that have lost fortunes, divorced, just they've just been through it. I'm not saying divorce gets you to a millionaire or anything like that, but I'm just saying these guys and females and women have been through it, which is the reason why they are who they are. They know how to keep it now. You got to go through some stuff, man. People used to tell me all the time, live a little bit, youngster. Live a little bit so that you can understand how this world and life works. And then you'll embrace every stage and step of the process, because you'll understand that I can't get to this part without this stage. I can't step. I just can't skip. Oh, there's a hack for that. Yeah, not in life. You got to take the steps. True enough, technology has moved us forward, but at the same time, we still got to take the steps. We got to learn how to work with other people. We got to learn how to humble ourselves to get information. This is all part of the process. And I remember when I used to come home, I used to bump my head constantly in corporate America or whatever it was called, because I couldn't adjust. And now, when I went through that process of embarrassing myself with emails, responding to people with the reply, oh, you know what I mean? You know how you do the heated emails? Oh man, fuck that cat. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I had to learn. That was a process for me. Then now, do I respond like that? Nope. And guess what? Other people come to me for advice on how to respond. I had to bump my head. I used to call myself the sacrificial lamb, period, because I would sacrifice myself to learn things so that other people, my friends, family, whatever, didn't have to go through the same thing. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's just embrace it. It's part of it. Be happy with who you are. God's still giving you a chance. You're not finished yet. So embrace it. It ain't over. It ain't over. You got to watch your mouth too. I told you guys that. You got to watch your conversation. You can't expect the worst, expect the best. Start fixing your conversations and make sure important. We talked about that at 2 episodes ago? Your circles. That's important, because those are going to be your tools. And if you don't have people to run things and bounce things off of, it's going to be difficult, right? You got to go to your journal, but then you want to bounce something off. You want to get some positive human feedback. You go to certain people, they don't tell you what you want to hear. You feel what I'm saying? They don't tell you what you want to hear. And a lot of times you got to embrace that too and realize that that's their fear. That's not necessarily for you. That's their opinion. That's not necessarily for you. So even if you talk to an expert, they don't know what God's plan is. You could defy the odds. So try it. I just looked at my LinkedIn, man. I saw all the things that I've been doing over the last 5 and 10 years. And I said, I remember when I started each one of these, and they all sucked. They all were trash. I was bad at my job, my teaching. I was terrible. I couldn't get organized. We first started the hair company. We bought a bunch of hair from India that was straight garbage, right? I designed our own flyers. I should show you those flyers. They were horrible. When we started our bus, did it in my Camry. I remember my client said, they were like, is this your car? I was like, yeah. It's like, oh. And they was back there chilling. So they thought it was a rental at first. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is I had to go through each one of those stages of embarrassment, of me wanting to low-key quit, me like, damn, am I doing the right thing? Too much competition. Look at their bus. Look at my Camry. Look at my website. Look at theirs. That's the only time you feel bad, is when you start comparing yourself to others. When you don't know what you don't know, you keep going full throttle, right? And sometimes ignorance is bliss. It's one of the best things for you because too much information, you can stop you in your tracks. I know people who analyze the shit out of so many things that they analyze themselves and they're never moving. Never move. They don't do anything. All they do is analyze, man. Well, the market says, well, Wall Street, well, you can't open up a hamburger place. There's 20 of them around you. All this shit. And it all comes up, depends on who it is. Depends on what God's destiny is for them. Depends on how the stars are lined up and how the universe is lined up. Nobody luck, all that's man. It's when the universe wants you to have it. Period. And you got to be okay with that. That's part of the process. When the universe wants you to have it, you'll have it. Period. The house, I remember my wife telling me, I want a house with a brand new kitchen. I'm looking like, man, and I'm a optimistic cat. In LA, where are we doing this at? And she believed. She got it. I ain't putting a 10 on nothing. I'm just saying. When you're supposed to have it, you'll have it. Make sure you want it though. And make sure you're asking for the right thing because it's coming. I told my son that all the time. Something just happened to him and his girl. I said, man, I've been telling you, man, God gonna give it to you. Not when you want it, but it's coming. Whatever you ask for. If you ask for a mountain, be like, man, shit, 20, 30 years later, you'd be like, you know what? They just gave me this mountain. Like, oh, that's when I asked for that. Yeah, gave it to you. Anyways, he just didn't tell you then, man. I'm gonna slide it to you like 30 years. Because you'd be like, oh man, how come I can't get it now? We on some spoiled Christmas kid shit, right? Why can't I get it now? Because you wouldn't know what to do with it. Period. This is beyond us. And that's the part that's so difficult for us to really grasp, that it's beyond us. Because our egos as humans, man, what do we believe? We can do whatever, right? We can change God's mind. He just doesn't know what to do with my stuff. Man, please. He gave that, you lose your mind. If he told you what your real blessing was and how you was really going to end up, man, you probably mess it up. So which is the reason why he doesn't necessarily tell you everything, put your entire life, because you wouldn't know how to handle it. You start moving different. And he needs you to move naturally the way he needs, because you're going to impact other people. There's no skipping steps. You can't. It's just not possible. Hack my ass. You can't skip steps. You think you can, but you end up coming back to it eventually anyways. So embrace it. Understand, I'm going through stages. As an entrepreneur, as a student, I'm going through stages. I'm not good at math right now, but you don't know where I'll end up, man. I might be teaching, what's the, I can't even think of it. Statistics, right? You never know how God's going to flip it on us, ever. So don't quit, right? You don't know what you're going to do with something. You don't know why you're there, but it's not by accident. You got to embrace it. Every step, every stage, every person you meet. They always talk, you hear that cliche. Every person you meet is a teacher. God sends angels too with messages. And you got to be there. You got to, if you're not there, you don't show up. Right? When you're supposed to, you'll miss the message. And a lot of times it's on the days. That's what it be covered up and disguised in a sucky day. Because the way the enemy works is he doesn't want you moving at all anyways. So what he's trying to do is prevent you from moving. Movement means that you're going to run into some kind of God's blessings at some point. But if I can get you to stop moving, if I can get you to focus on whatever this stuff is that I throw at you, because it's more than likely it's a smoke screen, then I'll stop you from moving. Because if I can stop you and just get you in your head, God can't get to you. He's got to do a lot of work to get to you. So now, with that being said, you got to slide out. You got to go. You got to show up. That's why it's so important to show up to things. Even when you don't feel like it. Even when you think it sucks. Even when you don't think it's going to be worth it. You got to show up anyways, dog. You got to show up. That's what a blessing is. It is always disguised in work and always disguised in some things that you think you're not going to benefit from. I ain't gonna benefit. I'm gonna just sit here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just. That's what we always do. I'm gonna just. Nah, I'm going. If I sign up for something, I'm going. If I look into something, I'm going. The one thing I don't like about COVID is that I can't show up to events. I remember I used to skip a lot of events, but the ones I go to, I would always get jewels. Whether it be a book suggestion, I don't care. It could be as small as a book suggestion, but that book suggestion can change your entire trajectory. And that simple act of showing up, you thinking I'm going here to network and sell my whatever you sell. No, you're going here to get this book suggestion because in chapter 3, there's going to be something in there that I want you to see. And that's how God works. He puts it behind work. It's not something that's just going to be handed to you. It's going to be given to you. You're not going to have to work hard for it, but you're going to have to work hard to get to where it is. Right? The blessing is usually not located right next door to you, unless you're the plug, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I'm taking it back on y'all. Right? But it's usually somewhere different. It's usually some kind of work required, some kind of effort required for you to get to that, right? That real blessing. And it could be in your hometown and whatever. I ain't saying you got to leave town or whatever. Because a lot of times the treasures that you have or that he's giving you are right up under you. You don't have to go buy anything. You don't have to go find the guru. You feel what I'm saying? You don't have to. And the thing about it is, God knows that. He knows how you work. He knows how you think. But a lot of times when you fall for the same thing over and over again, he's like, you got to learn this lesson. You got to learn this process. You can't get to this step yet, man. I'm not going to graduate you, man. If I graduate you and give you this bag, you're going to mess it up. We be back at square one, man. And I'm hustling backwards. God doesn't hustle backwards. It's usually the best thing for you. Whenever you go do something, whenever you're seeing the most difficulty, like Jim Tanisha just said, the gym. Oh, yeah. The best. The class that you don't feel like going to. You get the man like, man, damn, I'm glad I went to this class. I almost didn't go. Man, I'm glad I went to this restaurant or this birthday party. Because I didn't even know such and such sold real estate. And they got a house in the same neighborhood I'm looking at. And da-da-da-da-da. But I almost didn't go to this party because such and such be here. And he get on my nerves. We usually let something minute and small distract us or detour us from God's blessing. It could be something that small. I'll such and such show up. Whoa, 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 whoa. So what? That's not stopping you. So what? And don't create difficulties for yourself. Oh, man, it's going to be... Man, you talking yourself out of something, man. God ain't even got the chance to get to it yet. You already talking about it's a wrap. You're like, man, hold on, man. Let me just, I got paperwork I'm dealing with. Let me get to that in a minute. Right? As we're swimming, thinking about my kids, they learning how to swim. I remember when my son, my middle son, was trying to learn. When he was first starting, he was 2 and 3, he did not want to go on his back. That's part of the swimming process. So he took a step back. But one of the things about him and us and just the Cofield boys in general, we do things on our own time. And we're late bloomers. We usually don't get cracking until later in life. You feel me? We're just like that, right? And I know who I am, right? We talked about that in the past, right? Know who you are and embrace that too. Understand how you operate. Everybody doesn't do meditation. Everybody doesn't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody doesn't rock like that. And don't feel like you fail because you can't live up to somebody else's unreasonable ass standards, right? The reason this cat gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning is because in the military, he had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's not because, know who you are. I know who I am. I don't like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I just don't. Never have. My dad was military. That's his day. I don't need an alarm clock. I can get up without an alarm clock, but I don't, that's not my thing. And you got to, in order for you to really, really be successful, you got to understand who you are and how you move. And you can't move to other people's beats. One of the biggest mistakes, and one of the things that we always try to find in other books and all this other stuff, there's nuggets in there, but don't take everything they saying, especially if somebody can say, oh, learn how I sold 1,000,000 houses. Man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this stuff is BS. You can't buy into that. There's steps and stages to every industry. Take your lumps, take your L's, take your lessons, take your test, take your failures, take you burning out the scantrons. You dig what I'm saying? That's part of the process. I had to become a student. I had to become a better student in order to become an okay teacher. Right? But I had to develop empathy for students and look around and see what these teachers weren't doing. And was like, when I get on, I'm not doing that. When I get on, I'm doing more of this. Because the students can read, they can retain information, but the one thing that they're missing is motivation. And I understood that. So I had to go through the process of being a student, grad student, all this stuff in order to become who I wanted to be. And I'm still not there. Now I'm working on the academic side. And I understand that's a process, a long process, an embarrassing, humbling process. And that's okay. That's okay. What rule told us that we shouldn't be embarrassed and humble? Right? That wasn't part of success. Oh, no, homie. When you get embarrassed, you just tap out. Nobody's supposed to know that you failed. Man, what? That's part of the rules. One of the things the homie said this weekend I love, he was like, man, California has everything, but it's a cover charge out here to get here. People call it tax, but it's a cover charge. And I was like, man, that's dope. I've never heard that. And there's a cover charge for success. But I did put that together. There's a cover charge for success. And you just can't, man, let me just get that success. I'm up in here. What? Nah, bruh. 86 homeboy. He didn't pay. He didn't pay his dues. He didn't put in his work. He just thought he could slide up in this club of successful cats. But you got to put in work, homie. I couldn't be sitting there talking on this podcast had I not. Man, I've been in the game since I was 11 years old. I promise you that. 11. So in the game, right? The cats lived in my apartments. The plug. My brother used to get his hair done. You can hear the whole story in the podcast. Now I start naming names. Some of them are in what's the name's book. Jeff Henderson's. Same cast. Ran the streets, and I just happened that's how the luck just happened to have a plug in the apartment complex. But I paid my dues. Trust me, man. I've been doing this a long ass time, or else I couldn't talk about it. And if I had not taken the steps towards success, then I couldn't share shit with you guys. Because I don't have any tools. I ain't done it yet, B. Let me get back with you. I did this. I did the community college route. I took English 50 and Math 50 was my first classes in college. Those are the lowest level of math and English. The lowest levels. Part of the process. You feel me? Part of that process. And I had to take steps. I had to become an intern after I become a professional in order to get into teaching. Steps to this. It's layers and levels. But all of a sudden we want to put cheat codes in, right? We want to work around the system. Let's beat the system. System ain't shit. Let's beat it. Why are we trying to beat systems, man? Systems build character. Systems build resilience. Systems build mental toughness. The things that we all need to be successful for a long period of time. And that's the key statement right there. Some people can have instant success. You can, what they call it, lightning in the bottle. Some people can do with that. Sustainable success is a whole nother conversation. LL Cool J, think that kind of cat. Like, man, this cat is still on TV. Yes. Since the 80s, homie. Still on TV. Longevity. And you got to be smooth enough to be able to maneuver, right? Let me Switch games. I've used this one up. I'm done. That's the people that last. Like I couldn't still be selling D. It'd be embarrassing. I got quarter pieces still for what? I got zips. No, it doesn't even sound right to me. And I'm only 44. I remember cats when I was 21, 20, 44-year-old cats still running around chasing the same girls. So I know cats are still running around like this. I get it. I'm not hating on it. You have to deal with what you have to deal with, but I'm gonna need you to dig deep, homies, into that dream that you had when you was a kid before you got introduced to the game. It's still possible. It's still possible. Law school, whatever you want to do, it's still possible. There is a way. There is a way. Certain things they close the door on, pistols, all that stuff, if you got a felony, but you can work around that too. There's a way. And now we have the internet. There's several ways. Let's not sit behind our excuses anymore. Let's not use those as tools and crutches because they don't amount and build shit. So we need to move on, understand that these are the processes. And if we haven't graduated or passed the right step, we need to go back. Right? It sucks when you get your test back. Right? And the answers I'm like, damn, oh, I didn't know that one. Oh, okay. Well, I knew that when I second guessed myself. Yeah. Same thing holds true in a test in life. Sometimes you second guess yourself. Like I knew better. Shit. I should have known. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, that's intuition talking. That's God talking. Unfortunate part about it is 50% of the time we don't listen to our intuition. We'd rather listen to advice from somebody who hasn't done it before. Let me ask Facebook, what do you think about this? They don't know. And half your friends list is hating on you. So they wouldn't tell you nothing anyway, including if you had something in your nose. I'm just saying, be that basic sometimes. So you got to rely on God, yourself, your family. And if your family's not acting right, you assume leadership. And not with the verbal, not verbally, actions. I don't talk about it. I put it on Facebook. If I'm putting it on Facebook, you're seeing me actually in motion. Right? And I'm being careful about who I ask. I've heard too many people in the last 2 weeks tell me, man, I talked to this person, man, and man, you better talk to God and wait on your answer. It's going to be the best one you've ever heard or seen, and you'll get confirmations in different places. So you got to stay the course. That's why it's so important to embrace every step. It's staying the course. It's what they call grit. It's understanding that you're going to be a rookie before you're a veteran, before you're a pro, before you're a superstar. I was a rookie. I didn't know a lot of stuff. I still don't. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. So I'm still in that rookie stage, trying to get to that veteran stage. And the ultimate veteran or that seasoned millionaire that I talked about at the beginning of this podcast, you got to go through a lot of different steps and stages. Oh, you haven't been to this one yet. It's just like when people tell you about a story, right? A series. Like, what season you on? Oh, I'm on 2. Oh, okay, you haven't got to this part yet. Okay, I'll wait. Yeah, because I don't know what I don't know yet. Let me get to that part. Let me get to that part where I don't feel like money is more important than my family. Some people, oh man, I gotta hustle. It's like, because you don't have any kids yet. When you start doing that, oh, I gotta hustle for my kids. But are you missing birthday parties? Are you missing first day of schools, on the block, out of town, doing what you do? That might not be worth it. You got to weigh the options. Do I want to grow? Do I want to be this? Do I want to commit to this? These are things that you got to weigh out yourself. And the more you do it, the better you'll be, because then you won't waste your time on things that you're not going to be passionate about. Because when those things start to suck, the tap out is a whole lot easier. The easy button, you're looking for everything you can put your hands on. Period. So I'm like trying to give y'all tools, trying to give you everything. There's a book called Finish by John A. Cuff. I've talked about that. Really good book. But that's not our book of the day. I'm sharing another book. I shared it on on the Facebook, but I'll share it with you guys again. Let me pull it up really quick while I'm talking to you guys. But that's another thing that I've been doing. So when I'm sitting there, just at the gym or whatever, I make sure I got plenty of listening material. And the reason being is because that's when the enemy can attack you, right? Us being vulnerable is real. You know what I mean? And the enemy understands when we're the most vulnerable, right? When things are going through our head or whatever the case may be, when we're sitting there debating something, a lot of times they catch you at the gym because you're sitting there debating, am I big enough? Am I, cute enough? And you see some of the same people in there doing whatever they do. And you like, man, that's where you're probably measuring yourself the most, which probably makes you the most vulnerable. And I use my weapons. I use my weapons 100%, and I keep these stacked in here. Let me look. Let me see. I got 3 credits too, so I'm looking forward to going ahead and spending those 3 credits. I highly encourage you guys to invest in that as well. Let me go ahead and share the screen with you guys. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I love sharing good books. Some of you guys may have saw this already, which is fine. This right here is called The Magic of Manifesting 15 Advanced Techniques to Attract Your Best Life, even if you think it's impossible. Now, the book, I got it on Listen, I got it on Audible. Really good. Excellent book. Short, too. I think it's only like an hour. But excellent. Excellent book. Talks about just how to manifest things, how to speak things into existence, how to watch our conversations. And if there wasn't this many books on this particular topic, you think it would, it's a real thing. And self-deprecation, things like that aren't good for your soul. They're not. So I really watch what I say. Only speak about the things you want. Don't talk about death too much. Don't talk about disease too much. Don't talk about, inhumane conditions. Just watch your mouth. Please do so for your own sake. For your own sake. And embrace every stage of the process. It's building character. It's building it. Each step and stage is a building block within you. So the more interesting you want to become, go do more things and embrace every step of each one of those processes. So you got our book suggestion. That will pretty much conclude our messages unless anybody has any direct questions for me. Other than that, make sure you guys, those who are watching, go over there to YouTube, type in Drug Dealers to Businessmen, hit that subscribe button, and go to iTunes and leave us a review. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling over my words. iTunes. Please go to iTunes, leave us a review if you got anything out of our podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys. We could not do it without you. Shout out to Arizona, High Desert, Kentucky, Atlanta, LA, everybody who's tapping in from all over. We appreciate that. All over the world. We got people in Australia. We got a lot of people listening from all over the world. So we appreciate you helping us get our message out. That is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping out.